Following a successful skin removal procedure, fans of 1,000-pound sisters believe Tammy Slaton is gaining weight quickly once more. Tammy Slaton is once again at the center of criticism for packing on the pounds. After losing a significant amount of weight, she had skin removal surgery earlier this year to remove the loose skin that was bothering her. She pleaded with a number of doctors for the procedure, but they all refused.
Doctor.
Tammy shed another 30 to 40 pounds, and only Ruben gave her permission to have the surgery. She would not be here now if she hadn't put in countless hours to better her health. She once weighed more than 600 pounds and was in danger of dying. Fortunately, she made it through and checked herself into a weight loss facility in Ohio. Why do admirers think she's lost her way? According to Tammy Slaton, she has begun creating her own line of handcrafted jewelry, which is very charming to wear. On Instagram, the 1,000-pound sisters star showcased her skills and some items. She didn't use the caption to advertise the products or describe her abilities. To allow them to speak for themselves, she just shared images of them. Amy and Tammy have exceptional handiwork skills. It's worth buying their crafts. Some fans have already purchased Amy's artwork from her website and during shows. The older sister had recently tried her hand at creating some lovely bracelets, necklaces, and earrings, so it's possible that she hadn't made any sales as of yet. If she makes a public announcement about her startup someday, she might be aware that she will soon receive orders. As of right now, people are excited to wear her jewelry. A screenshot of Tammy Slaton's present face from one of her TikTok videos was posted in a Reddit thread. The patient observed that she had some fat and loose skin buildup on her chin, which made it look a little sagging. The individual stressed that although the jowl has disappeared as a result of the skin removal procedure, it has returned to its initial condition. That isn't accurate, though, as Tammy didn't change in appearance from a few months prior. Because she had committed to continuing her previous, long-term, healthy habit, she was unable to gain weight. She values a healthy diet and fitness above all else. She won't repeat her bad eating habits. Some followers stood up for Tammy, arguing that it's not only the skin and not fat. They also mentioned how difficult it is to identify it from a single shot. Perhaps her skin began to show in the area as a result of her further weight loss. Not all of the reality star's loose skin was surgically removed. In order to achieve the greatest alteration, she needs to have another skin removal procedure. Tammy's legs, as well as any other remaining or altered body parts, should be operated on. Chris, her older brother, also needs it because he has some extra skin. The OP was urged to quit criticizing someone who lost 500 pounds by another admirer. Do you believe that she has gained weight? Post your thoughts in the comments section. For all of Tammy's latest developments, keep checking TV season and spoilers. But on a sunny spring morning in Dixon, Kentucky, there was a lot of excitement in Tammy and Amy's comfortable house. In order to record a special episode of 1,000-Pound Sisters, across the pond, the Slaton sisters were getting ready for their first-ever foreign trip to London, England. Amy was up first, pacing the living room while carrying her extensive packing list. "Hey, Tammy, have you prepared your passport, girl?" she yelled. Tammy moaned as she remained in bed, her hair still in an untidy bun. "Calm down, Amy. I still haven't had my coffee. Before you begin yelling commands like a flight attendant, let me wake up." Amy threw a pillow at her sister while laughing. "Well, this flight won't be missed. This trip has been months in the making. The Slaton sisters will not be waiting in London." At last, Tammy rolled toward her closet and slipped into her wheelchair. It was impossible to hide the delight in her eyes. This trip was not simply a holiday, it was a testament to her progress after years of battling health problems, hospital stays, and emotional ups and downs. Isn't it unbelievable? As she looked at her image in the mirror, Tammy spoke quietly. "I could hardly walk to the porch a few years ago. I'm flying across the ocean right now." Amy approached her sister with a smile on her face and gave her a brief embrace. "Tam, you deserved it. You put forth a lot of effort to get here. Both of us did." Naturally, commotion ensued as the sisters packed. Amy was having trouble deciding what to pack for her two young boys, Glenn and Gage, who were going on the trip. "Should I pack the Spider-Man pajamas or the dinosaur ones?" Half to herself, half to the camera team that was following them, she said. Tammy and her still-rehabbed husband, Caleb, were FaceTiming at the same time. With tears in her eyes, she informed him, "I'm going to miss you so much. However, I'll send you photos from every location, including those red phone booths, Big Ben, and Buckingham Palace." Caleb grinned broadly. "Baby, you go live your dream. I will be rooting for you from here." There was nothing but enthusiasm over the next few days. Everything was organized by the production team, including their medical clearances for the lengthy flight and special travel accommodations. To make sure Tammy was prepared for the trip, even Dr. Smith called. He reminded her to stretch her legs and drink plenty of water while flying. The day of departure finally came. The camera team, the sisters, and their relatives arrived at the airport. Amy was wearing a bright pink sweater that said, sparkly sneakers, and a stylish black outfit, while Amy gave Tammy a tense glance as they got on the plane. "Are you prepared, sis?" Tammy smiled. "I was prepared from birth. Furthermore, what could possibly go wrong? Too many British snacks for me?" The sisters were loved by the flight attendants, and soon Amy's comments about trying to speak British had the entire first-class cabin smiling. "I'm going to ask for tea, but with sugar like a proper lady," she joked, raising her pinky finger. The sisters eventually touched down at Heathrow Airport after over 10 hours in the air. Every moment was caught on camera, from Tammy's emotional response upon first seeing the iconic London skyline to the audience's recognition of them. As Big Ben entered the frame, Tammy cried and exclaimed, "Oh my God, Amy, we really did it." The Slaton sisters spent the following week seeing London like real visitors, going to Buckingham Palace, eating fish and chips, and even riding the London Eye. Amy couldn't stop taking selfies, and Tammy laughed more than she had in years. Their visit to a local London weight loss support group was one of the most poignant moments. The audience cheered as Tammy told her story. She declared with pride, "If I can do it, you guys can too." Believing that you deserve to live in this world is more important than simply seeing it. Amy and Tammy sat by the River Thames to watch the sunset at the end of their journey. "We've come a long way from that little house in Dixon," Amy remarked softly. Tammy gave a nod. "Indeed. And we have only just begun." Two ladies who had faced their anxieties, overcome their demons, and now stood halfway across the world, prepared for the next phase of their lives, laughed and held hands as the camera zoomed out. The Slaton sisters demonstrate that, with family by your side, no dream is too great or flight too long in the upcoming TLC series 1,000 Pound Sisters, London Adventures. But in Dixon, Kentucky, the Monday morning dawned bright. The window of Amy Slaton's comfortable house was illuminated by a gentle golden glow as the sun had just started to rise. Anxiously, Amy sipped her morning coffee at the kitchen table. She and her sister Tammy had spent the entire month getting ready for weigh-in day.
Amy looked at the time.
Despite her stomach churning with fear, she whispered with a little giggle, "Tammy's probably still sleeping." On 1,000 Pound Sisters, their path had always been dramatic, filled with highs and lows, triumphs and heartaches. This weigh-in, however, felt different. It was a test of their strength, progress, and determination to make a permanent difference in their life, not just another check-in with Dr. Smith. There was a loud honk outside. It was Haley, Tammy's nurse, helping her sit in her motorized wheelchair. With her camera for their YouTube vlog in hand, Amy left the house. "Hey, everyone. We're on our way to Lexington for our weigh-in," she said with a smile. "Say a prayer for us." Despite rolling her eyes, Tammy couldn't help but smile. With a strong yet light-hearted Southern accent, she chided, "Girl, you better pray for yourself too." The car was filled with nervous banter, laughter, and country music playing gently in the background as the sisters traveled down the lengthy Kentucky highway. Amy turned to face her window reflection. She had been concentrating on her children, eating better, and exercising every morning. She wanted to show the public and herself that she could persevere in the face of all the obstacles. In contrast, Tammy had been having a quiet struggle. Since beginning her weight loss journey, she has shed more than 300 pounds, but recently, she has seen a decline in her drive. "What if I put on a couple of pounds?" she muttered. Amy turned and gave her a gentle smile. It's okay, Tammy, even if you did. You've gone a long way. You're breathing better, walking, and truly experiencing life once more. When they got there, the clinic was crowded. Cameras and lights had already been set up by the TLC crew. Dr. Smith smiled warmly at them as usual. It's good to see both of you. Are you prepared to learn how far you have come? Amy gave a confident nod. Let's take action.
First was Tammy.
Heart-thumping, she stepped carefully on the scale. The statistics wavered, and then leveled off. Dr. Smith grinned as he looked up. You've shed an additional 18 pounds, Tammy. Cheers broke out in the room. Overcome with emotion, Tammy hid her face. She cried as she remarked, I didn't think I could do it. Amy ran over and gave her sister a quick embrace. You have my utmost admiration, girl. 18 pounds is fantastic. Amy's time came next. She inhaled deeply, got onto the scale, and bided her time. Dr. Smith grinned once again. Since your last appointment, Amy, you've shed 12 pounds. That is consistent progress. Amy smiled. 12 pounds? Indeed.
She danced a little while she cheered.
I've been working hard, like I mentioned to you all. The sisters laughed through tears of relief and gave each other high fives. Their will to persevere in the face of every challenge was more important than the numbers. Dr. Smith sat them down after the weigh-in. You two are doing fantastically. But keep in mind that weight isn't the only factor in this trip. It has to do with familial support, self-love, and mental wellness. Continue to rely on one another. Tammy glanced at Amy as they walked out of the clinic. I used to believe that we would never arrive here, you know. Now take a look at us. Two resilient sisters transforming our lives. Amy held Tammy's hand and smiled. We're walking this long road together, but it's still a long one. They recorded a brief vlog for their fans that evening when they were at home. Fans cheered, sobbed, and celebrated their development in the deluge of comments. Tammy's voice was calm and proud as she grinned at the camera. Don't give up, anyone watching, she urged quietly. You can succeed if two Kentucky ladies like us can. Beside her, Amy nodded. What matters is that we're trying, even though we're not perfect. As the titles played, the sisters hugged and laughed as the video came to a close. Because they were finally living their lives according to their own terms, Amy and Tammy felt hopeful for the first time in a long time, not because of the numbers on the scale. It was more than a simple weigh-in. It was a celebration of courage, sisterhood, and survival. But 1 year had passed since Amy Slaton went through one of the most difficult periods of her life. Amy had lost herself in the midst of heartache, the turmoil of motherhood, and the crushing strain of being in the spotlight. However, she made a vow to herself at the start of the new season of 1,000-Pound Sisters. This time, her narrative would be about healing. One sunny morning, Amy awoke in her modest Kentucky house. Sunlight filtered through her window as the birds outside chirped. In the living area, her boys, Glenn and Gage, were already awake and giggling.
Mom.
Morning meal, Gage yelled. For the first time in months, Amy smiled, genuinely. She approached the mirror and gazed at her image. She said, You've been through it, girl. But you haven't finished yet. Amy battled anxiety, loneliness, and emotional eating for months following her traumatic divorce from husband Brian Lovehorn. However, she chose to rebuild rather than allow it to shatter her. For the first time in years, she started focused on herself, started treatment, and joined a women's support group. Now healthier and more active than ever, Tammy saw her sisters change. One afternoon, as they sat on the porch sipping iced tea, Tammy said, I'm proud of you, sis. You're learning to love yourself again at last. Amy chuckled quietly. Isn't it about time? It took me 36 years to discover the answer. The sisters started a new chapter together, one based on optimism and healing. They began taking morning walks in the park, discussing life, their goals, and their progress since the show's inception. When fans stopped them for pictures, Amy would smile confidently rather than hide away. She frequently remarked, My story is worth it if it helps someone else heal. Every loving moment was filmed by TLC cameras, including Amy journaling about her emotions, cooking nutritious meals, and drawing with her boys. The day Amy returned to the old clinic where she and Tammy had begun their initial weight loss journey, however, was an episode that touched everyone's hearts. It brought back thoughts of embarrassment, anxiety, and tiredness to walk through those doors. Now, however, she was erect. With tears in her eyes, she informed the producers, "This is where I thought my life was ending." But in reality, that's where it started. In addition to losing more weight at the conclusion of the season, Amy had also shed a lot of the anguish that had plagued her for years. It was tranquility, not the cameras, that made her glow. In the last scene, Amy, Tammy, and her boys were sitting on the porch, enjoying the sunset. Amy remarked quietly, "I used to think healing was about fixing what's broken. Now that I think about it, though, it's about learning to love the pieces that remain." Tammy wiped away a tear and nodded. "And girl, you succeeded." "You did, in fact." The sky turned pink and orange as the camera panned out, signifying a fresh start for Amy, Tammy, and everyone who has ever had to start over. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Mina, and I hope you're having a great day. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the video.